Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Coleman Report Live. Thank you all for joining us. John Riosti, Lance Sexton, Thomas Kinsey, Ami Kassar will introduce them. I wanted to start off, though, with John. He's a reporter for the American Banker and did a great article last week on SBA's budget. John, bring us up to date.
Thanks, Bob. What I learned in reporting that article is that there's been some progress in some areas of the budget negotiations or the budget process, but holdups have cropped up in other areas. And where there's progress, the House has gone ahead and appropriated money to fund a subsidy for the 7A program in fiscal 2020, which I would presume means that there's really no talk or no appetite there for increased fees. So they chose to go ahead with the subsidy. They also, the credit subsidy, yes. They also chose to, or are pressing forward with the study that they talked about of the subsidy mechanism, the calculations and the process SBA uses to arrive at a subsidy decision for 7A. So on the House side, that's where things are, and that's somewhat promising. The Senate side is where the holdup has developed. Things look like they were moving towards a conclusion there, both the reauthorization process that Senator Rubio has presided over and possibly the budget as well. But some objections developed right towards the end of July about, I guess you'd call them regulatory relief provisions that Senator Rubio included in the reauthorization. And, sort of the big plan there was to strengthen the Office of Advocacy, make it an independent agency, and sort of give it the power to really question whether agencies had done rigorous enough analysis of regulations that they wanted to put forward in their analysis of the impact on small businesses. And there were some other proposals in there as well designed to give small business owners, the actual small business entrepreneurs, a bigger say in the regulatory process. And that has raised the concerns among Democrats who fear that it might be giving business too big a say in the regulatory development, regulatory consideration. So there's an impasse there, and my talk to people on the committee is, what I learned from talking to them is that Senator Rubio would like to settle that first before he turns to the budget. I guess that's doable. One thing they could do is decide to separate the two issues, go forward with reauthorization and sort of hammer out some sort of consensus or compromise on regulatory relief, and then move forward with the budget. The only issue,
what's the bottom line? How will it be resolved, and when will it be resolved?
It will probably be resolved at the last minute, because the big problem is timing. It's that the Senate is in recess now. They'll be in recess for the rest of the month, and they won't return until the first week of September. So they'll have 3-4 weeks tops to settle this.
Are you optimistic? I mean, they're not going to hang out 7A after October 1.
I don't think they will, because they went through the whole reauthorization process, and they know how important it is. But it will, I guess perhaps one could say it's just going to be uncomfortably close to the deadline when all this gets settled, if it gets settled.
Yeah, I think that. Hey, tell us about this cute chart that you put together.
The chart in the
article.
The story.
Yeah.
We used that. We just went back. We wanted to, since a lot of the whole concern about the budget was the subsidy, we wanted to get a sense of how much, I guess, how close, under the current calculations, SBA has been at reaching a subsidy calculation or how good its subsidy calculation has been. And what we learned, and I think others have focused on this as well, is that SBA right now 7A returns a lot of money to the Treasury. The fees that they're generating right now are significantly more than they need to pay for their credit costs.
Absolutely.
So and that can obviously that creates a little bit of skepticism, and I guess that ties back to the report that they want done by GAO. Is what exactly is SBA doing to arrive at these calculations, and how did it?
SBA and GAO. Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
Great. Yeah, that'll be very interesting.
You had one more topic you want to talk about very quickly. I know we have some people on the call who are interested in SBICs. You dropped a story today on that.
Yes. This is sort of a little bit of the 180-degree different than the budget. The budget has been sort of held up by the Senate on a partisan issue, a real issue developed, around regulatory relief, and the sides have different views and takes on that, and that's what they'll be discussing. But in this, there's really no partisan issue. Both in the recent June 26th Senate hearing, parties, members on both sides were very critical of the assistant administrator and his management of the program over the last 2 years, particularly this year, when both funding provided to SBICs and licensing of new SBICs are way down, significantly down, well into the double digits. And the people connected to the industry, they're talking about mismanagement. They use that term a lot. And so, I was able to talk to him yesterday, and by him I mean Assistant Administrator Joseph Shepard, and he said that they have been putting a lot of time and effort in developing a new subsidy model there, also into developing a new technology platform which will manage sort of the operational process of SBICs going forward. He'll start rolling that out next year, and he says that will hopefully go a long way towards solving some of the performance issues they're having now in terms of issuing licenses, approving business plans.
It is a great program, and it's very useful in getting capital Main Street. Hey, John, I really appreciate the updates, and let's have you on end of September as we get closer to resolving this.
Okay. I hope there'll be more good news then.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.